So the floor is open if you'd like to share at all what it was like for you to do this little exercise, what you noticed, what came up. So Leslie,
It was really cool. It was really an interesting experience. I went through a lot of different feelings. Um, First of all, I really realized we were human. I mean, that was just wow, Here's just
great, you
me.
got the wow of it.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Um, and then I was just kind of gazing, and then I realized, well, I don't know when to say it again. And then I just said it, and it was very comfortable for the most part, very comfortable. And I got to meet someone new just gazing at each other.
Yeah, this is very different, isn't it?
Yeah,
Usually when we meet someone, we're negotiating this whole verbal thing of, telling them who we are, asking questions, and
right.
it's so different to encounter another human being without that in the way. It's a little like, I watch my granddaughter with another 1 year old, and they don't have speech yet. And so they often just like stand there and, when they meet, just sort of like take the other in a little bit. And then they figure out something to do, hand them a toy or whatever. They figure out something to do, but there's just this like, oh, there you are.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Anything more you care to say about feelings that came up?
Um, I just really realized we were really real and we were just really alive and two humans, you
Great.
know? That's it.
All right. Thank you.
Sure.
Yeah, Karen.
Hi. So I was paired with Leslie,
Oh, you were okay. So,
and she began. She went first, and I just kept thinking of all the qualities of her, like humanity. Like, I've never spoken with her, but I've heard her speak before, and I just always thought for years what a lovely human being she is. And so these qualities of her, like humanity and being a lovely human, came up when I was listening. But when I was speaking, I felt more like I was encountering a being from another planet, and that I was like introducing myself as a human. It was more like a kind of robotic thing. But it wasn't uncomfortable. And when you first gave the instructions, I thought, oh, this is going to be weird. You know, it's going to be weird. And it wasn't at all. So it just seemed very different when Leslie was saying the word, and the visions and the connection that I felt, and very different when I was saying it. So that
yeah.
was my experience.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, there's something about naming human. I guess it also indicates that there are other possibilities, um,
Yeah,
of who you could be or what you could be looking at.
yeah.
So, yeah. All right. Thank you. Who else like to say what it was like? I spring this new thing on you. So, Jack, go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, I got paired up with an old buddy of mine who I've known for, 30 years or so. And I knew that we had some things in common, but as he was letting me know that he was a human, it occurred to me that we had everything in common.
Mm,
It's like there was no difference.
mm,
I know we're up against some different things in our lives, but just even the same age and same, sort of um, uh, trudging along, just going through a lot of the same stuff. That's all.
Great. Yeah. So it took down the barriers, whatever there were, even with someone you know. It's
Mm.
interesting because, with someone you don't know, there's this commonness. With someone you do know, there's a deeper kind of commonness that you sort of touch when you really see the humanness in common. Beautiful. Thank you. So go ahead, Linda.
Well, I was paired with somebody I know quite well, but I was dreading this whole pairing thing because it's not the kind of thing I like to do. I once went to a Richard Rohr 5-day retreat in Santa Fe, if any of you know who he is, and he had us staring into some stranger's eyes for about 5 minutes.
Yes. I've done that on retreats too. I'm probably not going to put you right in there to do that, but
No,
it's a powerful experience.
well, yes, if you can endure it. But it was interesting being with somebody I know. And I found even with listening and saying human, my mind wouldn't stop going. And sometimes when I would say human, I thought mercy towards the person.
Beautiful.
And I was also, though, reminded of Ram Dass's comment that because we tend to be so judgmental, he had two things. He would, when he would pass people or see people, he would view them as trees because we all get along and think highly and likable of trees. So he would see people as trees. And then the other thing he would say was to see people as God in drag. And I've always liked those two things.
Yes. Yeah.
So that's all I have to say.
Beautiful. Thank you. Anyone else want to hop in there? Okay, Donna.
Yeah. It was a lot like meditation for me in some ways, where I think what you were saying, Linda, where, there I had to bring my focus back, even though in the 3 minutes, like each 3 minute section, like my mind would wander a little, or I was very resistant in the beginning. I also sometimes feel very uncomfortable with breakout rooms in general, even just in work meetings. And then I was kind of relieved because I got paired with Paul, who I was paired with last time. So I said, okay, at least, we sort of know each other, although probably not that well. But yeah, I had to just bring my mind back and I had to just really sink into myself to be able to do it at all. Um, and I had even moments of sadness where I'm like, humans, we're so, like I think took a lot of the day with me into that, but it was very interesting. I think it was a little easier to say human, and maybe that's because I think I went second. So because I sort of have a little more control over what I'm saying, and then listening, I just have to be really just listening and be very patient. And it was a lot like meditation, just trying to bring my brain back or my focus.
Yeah. Yeah, it is a lot like meditation. There is a focus. But you noted that it brought you deeply enough to get some tears, to touch your emotion around being human. Yeah, we all have a lot of feelings around being human, about how hard it is, how poignant it is, how beautiful it can be, even in its difficulty. There's just a confluence of a whole lot of stuff that's wrapped up in what we are. So thank you. Anyone else?
I'll go.
Okay, Lynn.
I thought it was a really beautiful exercise. It's interesting that the course theme is compassion, because by simplifying it down to just one word that first the other person was saying and then I was saying, it makes me able to see her and just feel that we're both human. And there's just not anything else being said. And so, there's a lot of space there to actually have the feeling of that, which then started to really make me feel bigger than the two of us. Like it took me out, like humanity, but not just like a word, but like the feeling that it was the two of us acknowledging each other compassionately. And that's part of all of us here on this planet, you know, in strife or in cooperation with one another. That was like kind of coming up for me out of it. And I think just because there was lots of space around it and just the word.
Yeah, you could go big with it in a
Yeah.
way. Yeah. All right, thank you. All right. JP.
I misunderstood the instructions.
Okay.
And so my partner was Jill, and she was very understanding and let me do my thing
What did you
that I
do?
thought. I talked about my practice and my
Oh,
week
okay.
as if it were, what we're supposed to do. And then I felt like, well, she'll say human when I'm done, which she did. And it felt really warm and comforting, I think is the word I want to say. And then she started to say human more. And then she invited me to say it. And it just was a beautiful dance of permission and not being ashamed of my mistake. And
That's
it was
huge.
very, very human.
You're very human. That's huge to not be ashamed of your mistake. And it's part of what I hope the word human will kind of begin to open up for people. It's a part of being human, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
We're very fallible.
It's great.
Yes. Yeah. All right. Thank you. All right. Anybody else? I'm loving hearing these different responses. Jill.
I mean, I guess I should. I enjoyed that. I forgot your name. I forgot.
JP.
JP. JP. When JP said that what he thought happened, I said, "Oh, that's not what I heard." Okay. And I didn't know. I thought I must have heard wrong, or maybe I didn't, or whatever. But it was nice to listen to you. And I didn't know. I thought, well, maybe I should say human. And I did at the end. And then we switched, and it was very beautiful. And it felt like there was a lot of spaciousness for both of us to just be with what was. And it felt very deep. And when I said human, and it got deeper and deeper and deeper, and then it like came up to the surface a little more. And then it would be, the seriousness of being human or the difficulty of being human. And then the dearness. I love that word that you used in the meditation.
Dearness. Yeah.
Beautiful. I could feel like everything could be dear. I want to remember that. And it felt very dear.
Yeah.
He felt very dear. And being human felt very dear. And it does when I think that. So thank you.
I considered having dear human be the thing to say, which would definitely skew it in a particular direction. I felt rather I'd just leave it a little bit more open for people to have whatever experience is coming up inside them. But it's really,
Yeah. I liked human was nice.
yeah, it's really a
Thank
nice. Dear is a nice word. Human is a nice word. Yeah,
And thank you, JP.
yeah. All right, thank you. Anyone else? So, Jim.
Hi.
Hey, Jim.
Hi. Um, this was an interesting. I was with Jean, and I had never met her before. And as we progressed into this, I started to relax more. And I just, well, if you want to use dear, I just felt that quality coming from her and my receiving that. And I go, wow, I know this person already, in a very wonderful way.
Yeah,
Yeah,
isn't that amazing?
it is.
Yeah. Goodness, get the mind out of the way. Get the, you know, get all the judgments and stuff just to pare it down. It's really wonderful.
I'll go next.
Okay, Faye, go ahead.
I was paired with Linda, and we've been friends for quite a long time, and we know each other pretty well. And I kind of didn't take it the way any of the pairs who knew each other seemed to have felt closer to them as humans. And I took it more as a word to repeat. And you could have just as easily have said, say the word chapter over and over. Say the word chapter. And I felt that it would have been all right that way, that we weren't going to be made any closer or any more aware of each other by saying the word human. And in the very beginning, I didn't even understand that was a word because I don't hear as well as some people, and my hearing aids aren't always doing what they're supposed to do. I had to ask Linda, what's the word? And he said human, and I said, oh, okay. But you know, we know I know so much about Linda, and she knows so much about me. That it was hard to really, I thought, learn anything new. But I did try to observe, like, did she say it questioningly, like, is it human? Or did she say human? Or, what her tone of voice was, that kind of thing. And she inspired it somewhat, and I thought that was interesting. But I can't say that it made me feel more human. I already feel very human with her. And
All right, good. I'm glad you feel very human.
good.
All right, thank you, Faye. So let's see. JM, you had your hand raised for a while and then may have given up. Do you still want to speak?
I don't, I can just briefly share. I just was struck by how tender that experience felt. It was really lovely. Especially through the screen. I was surprised by the level of sort of connection that was still there, even virtually. But again, yeah, I was just struck by the tenderness of it.
All
Thanks.
right. Yeah, thank you for noting that. It is, I sometimes have my doubts about this Zoom stuff, but then sometimes I'm surprised at it, how it actually works well. So, anyone else want to chime in? Got a chance with this to hear from a lot of people. It's really wonderful. You get to appear.
Hi.
Beth, yeah, you get to
I was
appear.
partnered with Lisa, who spoke the word human with such emotion and such differing emotion each time that it was incredible to just witness and receive emotion from someone. And it felt like such permission, which someone else said, like such permission to be human. And then when I was speaking, I felt really attuned to Lisa's like nonverbal cues. Like each time she shifted, I felt my instinct to say human arise. And in my mind, I also was pairing it with like a grounding touch on the shoulder. Like for some reason, my body felt very like, or somatically involved. So like a touch on the shoulder and saying human, or I was imagining us like clasping hands like across from each other and saying human, and just like bringing us down into it.
Wow. Yeah, your imagination is filling in for what Zoom doesn't necessarily allow, you know, but it gets transmitted. It gets transmitted, and when we do these words, I'll probably do this again just because I liked it, and it seems like people really got something. It's great to play with the word inside, how you say it, the place from which you say it. There's always a possibility to do that, and to listen to where it's coming from and the person you're with. Both things. And it also is astonishing to me how sensitive we as human beings are. I mean, it's not a surprise because we are totally evolved to be social beings and to read each other. And we are reading each other all the time as social beings. And it's nice in an exercise like this where we kind of clear away some of the clutter of words and things that go on, to just pare it down. And yet still, in such a limited way, with just one word, so much is communicated. So much can be communicated. So much can be received from just this one word. All right. Thank you, Beth.